Let's get into some NBA talk
For
because
sure,
I
man.
think I think that's what's the most hottest thing going on right now.
Yeah, the Warriors are the hottest thing right now.
Yeah, I mean,
And the Bucks.
and the
Warriors and the
Bucks.
Bucks are the hottest thing right
You know,
now.
what series do you want to start off with? You want to start off with Golden State versus Portland?
Let's get the Warriors. Yeah, we can get Golden State
Okay.
out of the way.
What is your your overall you know sight on what's going on here? Like obviously we knew that this might happen. You know where it's going to be an easy game for the Warriors, but you know what do you see happening here?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people saw this, coming. They thought that Golden State was gonna, easily, be able to handle the Blazers. Even though it's not over, it's 3-0. Um, I kind of thought that the Blazers were gonna have a chance just because of Durant, not being in the lineup.
Yeah.
Um, but it's Curry, man.
And Clay and Dre, they're all pulling their parts.
Yeah, Curry's putting in work. Draymond Green, he's just to me, Draymond Green's the most important player on the team. I think.
You think? You
He
think
just
is he the glue that's keeping
yeah,
everybody
he just
together?
holds everything together, man. He does everything. He secures the rebounds. He facilitates. Um, he can also score when needed. Fast breaks, all that stuff. And he's like the emotional leader of the team.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
I actually have been paying attention to his motivation. It seems like his enthusiasm has been changing a little bit. Like he's like before, he had those issues where didn't he like kick people before? Like
Yeah, he had those issues like where he was like kicking people and
little dumb stuff.
yeah, kind of like little dirty plays here and there. But now
See,
like
he's mature.
yeah, now what you're seeing is you're starting to see Draymond Green turn. It's before the Champions League.
Oh, okay, so before Champions League, let me see.
Yeah, the final's gonna be
Europa.
Europa League. That's gonna be on the 29th this month.
Got it. Got it.
So that's an all English final.
Mhm.
And then the winner of that gets an automatic entry into the Champions League next year. And then of course the Champions League this year is an all English final as well. So
Yeah.
um, it's crazy. I just feel like it's a testament to the Premier League. I
How
feel
good
like
they are.
yeah, I feel like La Liga. Maybe a couple years back, I feel like La Liga was for sure like the number one league in the world.
Yeah.
Now I don't think that's the case anymore. I feel like the Premier League is the number one league now.
I mean, and Champions League gives you a chance to see that with the performance. You have like what top four teams going into Champions League from
Yeah,
Barca's
yeah,
Premier.
you're playing the cream of the crop from all of the European competitions.
Yeah.
You're playing the Bayerns, you're playing the PSGs. Um, and if you remember, PSG got knocked out by a Premier League team, Manchester United.
Mhm.
So back in the day when it was La Liga, when it was Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, those teams were at the top of all the European competitions, the Champions League and the Europa League.
Yeah.
Sevilla won the Europa League a couple times, um, but now not anymore. I feel like there's a rise now in the Premier League.
You think the you know Ronaldo leaving had a lot to do with that?
I think it contributed to it. Um, Another factor that's going to have to contribute into it too is the fact that Griezmann is going to be leaving Atletico Madrid as
But
well.
is he? It's tough. It's tough for me to realize that he's leaving
Yeah.
after watching that documentary on Netflix about him,
Yeah.
the becoming a legend with Griezmann.
Mhm.
I really thought he was gonna stay. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love
Yeah.
the guy. I want him to come to Barcelona because we need him. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I when I watched that documentary, I got so much like genuine, you know, like not conversation, but like I was listening to him and he seemed very genuine about like,
Mhm.
oh, there was rumors about me leaving and stuff like that, but I love this city way too much, and like he just made it seem like he could never leave.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of players do that. They fall in love with the city and the fans and the team, but sometimes after a couple of years, you do need, like a change of scenery. You just need a new team. Um, and there was a recent quote that came out where he did say that he was, you know, eyeing another team. So I don't know if that's MLS or if that's, Barcelona. I feel like it's, the latter, Barcelona. Um, but then if you look at Barcelona's squad, they're gonna have to unload one of their forwards now.
Oh, they're dropping so many people. It's gonna be
They're gonna have
a
to
whole
sell
new
or
Barca.
yeah. I mean, a lot of them are saying it's gonna be Coutinho.
I don't mind. I don't mind letting him walk.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's my least favorite from the team,
Hmm.
but and I see a lot of people, giving him crap for not, playing like he should be
Yeah,
playing,
because
like how he used to.
he didn't have a good Champions League, and he just didn't have a good season. But
I would hold on to Dembele. That's who
yeah,
I would not let go at all, and they don't even let him play that much.
yeah, they don't give him much playing time though. That's the thing with Dembele. I feel like he's one of their top forwards, but he doesn't get playing time, and that's the thing with Barcelona. You could be really good, but I mean,
And I think that's what Griezmann said, or I think he said something along those lines. I think it was when the rumors started coming a long time ago that
yeah.
he denied it or something because he wasn't gonna get. Oh no, that was someone else. That was the guy from Ajax. Um, the young lad who's that everyone's talking about.
De Jong.
De Jong, yeah. I guess.
They already got. He's already in Barcelona.
Oh,
though.
he's already there.
Yeah,
Oh.
De Jong's already in Barcelona.
Well, then I don't have to sweat no more.
Yeah, but Ajax, they got a lot of young players, man. The fact that they made it to this Champions
But
League.
they're all dissipating.
Yeah,
That's all gonna go away.
Yeah, I think this transfer window is gonna come up. They're gonna sell
The whole squad.
the whole squad, man. There was this one player, the one that scored the goal in the last game against Tottenham.
Mhm.
Uh, what's his last name? Delete. Matthews Delete. He's a really good player. I feel like Barcelona has an eye on him too. Um, they got this Brazilian that's really good. But yeah, Ajax is just gonna sell a whole lot, man.
That's usually what happens with all the smaller teams. That's all just a farming system for.
Well, yeah,
the
because
bigger teams.
it's a business, you know. At the end of the day, they're not gonna be able to really compete every year with these top teams. Although, I mean, if you watched that Tottenham game, they were almost there.
Yeah.
But the fact that they could do that every year, that's not the case.
Yeah.
They're on the big stage, and all these players, showed up. So now it's time to do business. A lot of these players are gonna go for 80 million euros, 60 million euros.
A lot.
And these are academy products. So these are basically players that come up in the youth system. And the fact that you could transfer them to another team for that much money, like, it's a business.
Insane. Yeah.
It's a business. It's crazy.
So let's actually move over to the Golden Boy.
Mhm.
He put out a statement saying perhaps it is time to take on a greater responsibility at PSG or elsewhere.
So Mbappe.
So Mbappe, like, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's tough for. I understand where he's coming from. I mean, he's been at PSG. He's dominated. Not only did he win the League One there at PSG, but he also won it when he was at Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's basically done everything there. I mean, he's also won the World Cup.
He's got this year. He just got named League Player of the Year.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a good time for him right now to move on to a bigger club. And it's got to be a bigger club than PSG. I mean, PSG is a big club already. They just don't have the trophies to show for it.
And that's sad because I feel like PSG has been the one team that has spent so much damn money.
PSG and Man City.
They all spend so much damn money, but their goal is Champions League.
That's their main goal.
Yeah.
I feel like if they win the league, if PSG wins the League One, it's like, okay.
They've done that plenty of times.
They've done that plenty of times.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it's gonna happen. Man City is the same thing. I mean, they spend a lot of money on players. They spend a lot of money on Pep, just to bring him over. So, yeah, their number one objective is Champions League, though.
But they keep failing. How do you fail at winning Champions League? And this is actually, I'm going to transfer over to another question here. But how do you fail with just that talent? Neymar, Mbappe alone, like, and then now that he says this, Mbappe, he says that whether it's PSG or another team, what do you think Neymar's thinking of?
Well, I mean, Neymar, it's the opposite with him. Like he was at Barcelona and he won Champions League at Barcelona. He
Yeah.
won La Liga at Barcelona. And when he moved over to PSG, I kind of looked at it as like a kind of like a money move type of thing. You know, like he's won basically everything except the World Cup. You know, that's
Yeah.
international.
That's tough.
So it's kind of like he's just kind of just living it up right now. You know, I don't think he's in a rush like Mbappe is. Mbappe, I feel like he wants to win the Champions League, and he wants to be competitive in the Champions League, and he
Now.
wants to be in a competitive league.
Yeah.
Now.
I'm curious. Okay, so this is just my hypotheticals here. I either see one of them leaving. I personally, I want Neymar to go to Real Madrid to play with Vinicius Jr., Isco. Actually, I want Isco to come to Barcelona, so that's a personal thing. But I just love him in general.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing him in that jersey. But, you know, it's all about, you know, Neymar just deciding if he belongs, if he wants to start something serious. Because if he comes to Real Madrid, do you understand what that just does?
That's true, but if you think about it like this, think about it where Mbappe does leave. If Mbappe does leave, then
That's Neymar's team.
that's
then.
Neymar's team, and let's be serious here. Neymar, he hasn't really had a fair shot in the Champions League, man. He's been injured both times.
Yeah, that's right. He was injured this year.
The first time against Real Madrid, where they lost against Real Madrid,
Mhm.
and then this season where he was injured against Manchester United. So I feel like he hasn't really had a fair shot in the Champions League to really show, you know, what he's about.
His full potential.
His full potential. So I don't really feel like Neymar is really in a rush to get out of there.
I think
Mbappe, on
it's
the
like
other
he
hand,
knows his full potential, and he's just like.
Yeah, and he's still young. Mbappe's also still young too, but just they're in different positions. I feel.
Both big prodigies.
Yeah.
A lot of weight on their shoulders. Lastly, on the world soccer news, just the idea that Robin and Frank Ribery say goodbye with goals as Bayern seals the Bundesliga. So I at first I don't even think that Bayern was in contention to win first place, but I guess something happened where points worked out for them.
Yeah, Dortmund was leading the Bundesliga for a while, and they slipped up towards the end. And then there was one game where they played each other, and Bayern, I think it was like 5-0. But yeah, man, that's been Bayern's league for a while now.
Robin
I
and Ribery.
usually root for Dortmund.
Yeah.
I love Dortmund. But Bayern is just they have the players, and it's kind of the opposite of what PSG is. You know, they have a collection of players that can play together as a team, and on the other hand, with PSG, I feel like it's just a bunch of really good players.
Yeah, and there's
together.
not really a chemistry that has been built.
Yeah, and there's no chemistry thing there. Like with Bayern, I mean Robin and Ribery, they've been there. Thomas Müller, they've been there for years.
Long time.
Yeah.
They even won a Champions League.
I know Lewandowski he came from Dortmund. But he's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Really, too.
I was actually it really touched me too because I saw this picture that was well taken. It was Frank Ribery, like thanking the fans, doing the classic last pitch. This is my last time on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did this slide, and he's sliding into like another player, and he has his shirt off, and he's just crying, and I'm just like, damn, like.
Yeah. He was a lot of people forget about Ribery, man. He was a really good player.
He was a crack. He was a crack. He used to take some crazy shots from like long distance and just nail them. Like he would definitely surprise you.
Yeah, but yeah, he was a really good player. A lot of people argue that he should have won the Ballon d'Oro over I believe it was Ronaldo back a couple years ago.
Was it when they won the Champions League?
Yeah, it was when Munich won the Champions League. They won. Yeah, I think they won the treble. So they won the Champions League, they won their domestic league, and then they won the cup. And then Ribery, I believe, played in France on the international team and had a really good Euro competition. So a lot of people forget about him, man, but he was a really good player.
Even Robin too. Them two, they've been like inseparable.
Yeah, Robin's been really good as well. He's like you say, he's a crack also. It's a shame that he never won the World Cup. He went to.
For Netherlands, right?
Yeah, that Netherlands team was a really good team, man.
Yeah.
Robin was in his prime, but unfortunately, he lost to Spain.
Yeah. That's some good sad soccer, goodbyes, and I think it always happens where like you see David Beckham's final send off at PSG and all these little send offs. So it's just a matter of hanging it up when you're done winning all the trophies.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some basketball, and then we'll finish it off with a little bit of Deontay Wilder just stunning hit. So what's going on with the Dodgers, Mario? I am slacking on keeping up with the squad.
The Dodgers are playing really well right now. They just finished a series against the Reds.
Yeah, we won. They won today.
They won today, and they took the series 2-1. Um, it was cool. I mean, it was sort of cool in a way watching Puig play again.
Isn't Kemp on that team?
No, I believe Kemp is not really getting any playing time with the Reds. Or I believe they released him. I'm not sure. Or designated him for assignment, something like that. But Puig's in the lineup.
Yeah.
And Puig yesterday, he hit a 2-run double against Walker Buehler, and it kind of hurt me, man.
It does. It hurt when he left. I was so pissed off. Like, why would we get rid? I understand, like, we have to get rid of some players, but like,
because we had the Dodgers management felt like they had a bunch of outfield players, like they had a clogged outfield, but it hurts to see a player that you saw come up from the beginning.
Yeah.
And a player that has so much heart like Puig, like he's always gonna be a fan favorite. I feel like he's always gonna be welcomed here in LA.
He will, and I appreciate I appreciate that he has been taking his enthusiasm with him wherever he goes, because he had that fire in him that he showed us. I mean, I've seen him play in person, so like I've even yelled at him and gotten the thumbs up from him. So it has a lot of like feels to it,
Yeah, it does. And watching him it still feels so weird seeing him in a Reds uniform.
Red.
And then even today the Reds had like the classic uniforms.
The stripe, the pin.
No, it was like an off-white type of color with like a really old-fashioned C.
Was their hat like the boxy one?
It was a hat that had it was like an off-white color with red stripes. And it was just.
Did the Dodgers rock anything?
No, the Dodgers just had their normal road uniforms, but no, the Dodgers are playing really well. Like I just said, Ryu pitched today. He was great. Bellinger's been on fire. He had a 2-run bomb today. He's still batting over 400.
And that's what we need from him to stay consistent.
Yeah, and here's the thing about the Dodgers though. Like for me as a fan, like watching the Dodgers play this good in the beginning of the season, like it's great and all, but I want them to play like this when it matters in the World Series. And the Dodgers, I mean, if you follow the Dodgers, you'll know that they always get off to a really hot start. Whether it's the pitching staff, the bullpen, they got a hitter that's just hitting home runs, but it's just this season to me I feel like it's gonna make or break.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I was gonna say it just like that too. It's a make or break.
It's a make or break season. I feel like this season, if we don't have a successful season, and by that I mean a World Series championship, I feel like there needs to be a lot of changes. Whether it's management.
That's definite.
And it's like it starts at the top. Friedman, although he's done a really good job. I mean, before Friedman and before Roberts, we were losing to the Cardinals and the Phillies, and we were not even making playoffs some years. And they came along and 2 World Series in a row. Like that's great and all, but I mean
against 2 freaking high caliber teams with the Astros and the Boston.
Yeah.
The Boston.
The Boston Red Sox.
Boston.
And Boston. I hate Boston. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I feel like if this season, if we don't get the World Series, I feel like we do need to change a lot of things, And it's like I said,
Who's your MVP this week?
For the Dodgers, it has to be Bellinger.
Bellinger's
just been on a tear, man.
There it is. Mario's MVP of the week, Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I mean, I would put Ryu in there as well, just because I believe he's leading the MLB with the 1.53 ERA or something like that. So I mean, I gotta put his name in there too. You know, a lot of the Dodgers, a lot of them are playing well. Verdugo, Peterson, Maeda before he got injured, they're playing really well. Turner played really well today. But yeah, I would probably call it a tie between Bellinger and Ryu.
All right, there we go. There you go. All right, that's enough for baseball. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mario. I appreciate that. We'll finish off with this Deontay Wilder, and I don't watch fighting too much, but before you got here, I was looking at the highlights and stuff, and
Not many highlights.
well, I mean, you know what I mean. The replay, the slow mo replay, and I'm watching it, and as it happens, my head hurts. Like my head hurt from watching that. Like what do you think about that? Like just the way his jaw moved, his ear flapped, like that hit.
If you when you look at the replay, I've never really noticed this about boxing, but you know a boxer when he punches, he punches really fast, right? And you don't really see that on your average boxing fight, you know. But on this highlight, on this knockout, when I saw him hit him, I mean, when I saw the highlight, I didn't even see when he hit him at first. When I barely saw the highlight, I was like, wait, what happened?
It was quick.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
And I replayed it, and I saw it again, and I still, like, if you blink, you'll miss the hit.
You'll miss it. It's quick.
That's how fast it is.
And that goes to show you how amazing of a fighter that Deontay Wilder is, because I know that it's not all boxing with him. It's like mixed martial arts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had actually texted my friend before the show, and I was just like sending him the video, and I know he's already seen it.
Yeah.
But he basically said that in the overall scheme of it, this fight is way off. Like Deontay, it was known that this guy was gonna.
he was gonna mess him up from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just one of those things. Like sometimes in sports, you don't know how fast the players are moving or how fast the ball is moving till you actually see it in person or till you see somebody
replay or something.
Till you see a replay or a highlight, and you see a really great athlete like him, like Wilder. It's just insane, man. Like the first time when I went to go watch an actual hockey game, and I sat really close to the glass, I was just amazed at how fast the ice, like the
and the
skaters
action,
move.
the action.
And the action, like you don't really see that in TV.
Yeah.
And also in football too, when you go to a football game and you see these wide receivers running routes, like how fast they're moving, it's insane.
Yeah.
And for me to see that, I've never seen that ever before, but for me to see that highlight of that knockout, and it wasn't even in person.
Yeah.
Just watching it, it's like that's insane how fast he knocked him out. Like if you blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
And that's legendary, man. That's crazy.
This guy's gonna be a freaking fighter for a long time.
He's coming. He's already up, but I'm really excited to see his up and coming fights.
I think what on Twitter I saw, what would you rather see, him versus Fury 2, or would you want to see Wilder versus Joshua?
I think Joshua. That's what everybody's talking about right now. The Joshua fight.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just scared for Joshua.
after watching that knockout, anybody should be scared.
And then he just yelled into the camera like right after. Oh, my favorite thing is I was looking over like Twitter and stuff, and everyone made a big deal about this guy wearing a red tie in the background. And one of my favorite things in all of sports is looking beyond the sport and seeing the fans' face reactions. And like in soccer, you see it all the time with Messi taking free kicks. You see the people in the background like, oh my God, or holding up a phone or something like that.
Yeah.
With this, like when it comes down to it, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah, it's legendary.
It's
man.
legendary. Yeah. So you missed a new segment that me and Adrian came up with. Well, technically I came up with it, but it's a cool little spin-off based on episode that we put out. So last week I posed the question, what does 24 mean to you, Adrian? And I know he mentioned, he's like, well, why didn't we start this on the 23rd? Or there's a lot of meanings.
Adrian would say that.
Well, there's a lot of meanings with numbers, and I put a lot of meaning with numbers. So a new segment that I wanted to come up with is we use the episode number and we ask ourselves, what does that number mean to you?
All right.
Yeah. So today's the 25th episode. So what does 25 mean to me? At the moment, for example, I'll give you an example. At the moment, I think of Chris Thompson Redskins running back.
Mhm.
When I think 25, this is just right off my head. So this is just the question. You go with the flow and you think of the first thing.
Mhm.
Chris Thompson. What an electrifying player he is.
Mhm.
When I look at him, I idolize him because he's a small guy, and I look up to all. I know it's funny to say that, but I look up to all the small guys in the league, like Darren Sproles, Chris Thompson, Brent Grimes. Whether it's on offense or defense, I have a respect for these players who are little pinballs,
Mhm.
and they put themselves in contention with all these ginormous players who can rip your head off.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Chris Thompson, I'm thinking of this particular play, and I remember we were playing the Eagles, and it was just a nice little dump off screen,
Mhm.
and Chris Thompson just went right up the middle, but Eagle players hit him, but he just bounced off like a pinball. He was
Yeah.
this. It's good to be small in a sport because you have
Yeah, it has its advantages.
advantage. I think of number 25. I think of Chris Thompson. I mean, that's the
Chris
first thing
Thompson.
that pops up in my mind. And I mean, what's the first thing you?
I mean, for me, I don't specifically, I can't recall a player wearing 25 or anything like that. But I guess number 25, I could look at it as uh, a number above 24. 24 being a number above 23.
Mhm.
I mean, when Michael Jordan came and wore 23, that established that number. When Kobe Bryant changed his number from 8 to 24, I mean, it's a lot of fans read it as like, okay, him wanting to be on top of Jordan,
One a little bit, yeah.
chasing Jordan.
Yeah. I like what you're getting at here.
So I feel like 25. If there's ever a player of some sort of like prodigy or some sort of like chosen one type of player that comes into the league
It'll be smart for him to do
wearing
number
25 and he chooses 25, a lot of people will know, okay, we know why you chose 25. It's because you're chasing these players, the Jordans, the LeBrons, the Kobe's and all that. So.
And I'm happy that you gave me that answer because when it comes down to it, that's what we're doing. We're connecting numbers and we have meaning to these numbers.
Mhm.
So, I mean, could we see Ben Simmons be?
Nah, I don't see Ben Simmons. First, he's got to learn how to shoot, and so that's something that you learn in grade school,
Yeah.
So first, he's got to know how to knock down, free throws and at least attempt a 3-point shot. Then we can get him in that conversation.
Yeah, and so now that we know this segment, now we can come a little bit prepared for like if you know what episode you're gonna come on next,
Yeah.
you can think ahead and who are these players like? Would Reggie Bush be a good number 25? I mean, he did get a lot taken away from him, but he has a lot of good moments like that jumping over, that classic like jump that he
USC,
does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just thought it was a cool little segment because I just think when it comes to sports, I always put like numbers and meanings together, so it's really special.
Yep.
But I think this is a good spot to end it here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been a great episode, and I appreciate you coming on.
For sure, man.
All right.
See you next week.
Yep.